You know, there used to be this, like, comforting magic to photography. A literal flash of light, a chemical reaction, and boom, you've frozen a piece of reality.
Right, you could physically hold it. You just knew it happened.
Exactly. But between February and April of 2026, that fundamental trust just completely crashed head-on into generative AI. So in today's deep dive, we're unpacking that collision. We're looking at legal rulings, tech interviews from the CP Plus show, and some really fiery artist op-eds to see where we're drawing the line between a real photo and, well, an AI hallucination.
Yeah, and the institutions gutting that line, they moved incredibly fast this spring. Like in March, the U.S. Supreme Court completely shut down Stephen Thaler's case.
Wait, he's the guy who had that long-running legal battle, right? Trying to copyright art made by his AI.
Debious AI, yeah. And the courts basically cemented a strict boundary. They said human authorship is a bedrock requirement. I mean, if a human didn't make it, it just can't be copyrighted. Hard stop.
Wow. Okay, so the law is totally locking it down. And it seems like the camera manufacturers are building their own walls, too.
Oh, absolutely. At the CP Plus camera show in February, executives from, Canon, Nikon, Sony, Sigma, they all drew a collective line in the sand.
Which is wild because, like, our smartphones are happily using AI to conjure up fake moons or, I don't know, drop missing friends into group photos.
Right, but these legacy camera brands are flat out refusing to put generative AI into their actual hardware. They're strictly limiting AI to tools like autofocus or noise reduction.
So no fake moons from a professional Canon.
No, definitely not. They're staking their entire reputation on hardware authenticity. They're championing systems like C2PA, which works at the exact moment of capture.
Oh, so rather than trying to detect fake images after they're already on the internet.
Exactly. The millisecond light hits the sensor, the hardware attaches this cryptographic signature to the file. It's essentially a digital wax seal proving a real human and a real camera were there at a specific time and place.
I love that. Reminds me of artisanal bakers refusing to use synthetic flour. They argue the physical integrity of the process is where the actual value is.
Yeah, that's a really good way to look at it.
But okay, if the law and the hardware makers are so perfectly aligned on protecting this physical process, why is the conceptual art world currently tearing itself apart over the exact same issue?
Because, the art world is wrestling with the end result. On your screen, an AI image and a digital photograph look entirely indistinguishable.
Yeah, you just can't tell them apart anymore.
Right, and that tension really exploded in April with Spanish artist Joan Foncuberta's new book. He proposed calling AI images algorithmic photography.
Algorithmic photography.
Yeah.
Okay, how does he justify keeping the word photography in there?
So he uses this allegory of a lemon tree grafted with an orange branch. Because AI models are trained on millions of real historical photographs, he views AI generation as a hybrid.
Oh, I see. So because the orange branch still relies on the lemon tree's roots, AI is just like a new branch growing out of traditional photography.
That's his argument, yeah. A second generation of photography.
I mean, I guess I see the logic, but a grafted tree still produces physical fruit in the physical world.
Yes. And that is exactly why artists like Boris Eldogson and Miles Astray have so loudly rejected his metaphor. Eldogson argues traditional photography relies on capturing actual physical light.
Right, whereas AI is, just math?
Basically, he says AI is born from latent space. It doesn't open a shutter to let light in. It takes your text prompt, navigates a massive mathematical map of probabilities, and just calculates what a pixel should look like based on statistical patterns in its code.
That's entirely synthetic.
Exactly, which is why Eldogson insists on calling it promptography instead.
Promptography. I mean, it's a great label. But if I'm just, scrolling through my feed and a piece of promptography is visually identical to a real photograph, aren't we just splitting hairs over dictionary definitions?
Astray and Eldogson argue it is much more dangerous than a vocabulary dispute. If society treats AI generation as just an upgrade to photography, like a cool new filter, we completely erode the documentary authority of the medium.
Because AI literally cannot record a real event.
Right. Calling synthetic code photography just gives cover to misinformation and manipulation, which is incredibly dangerous in a democratic society.
Yeah, that's a massive shift for you, listener, and how you have to consume media now. Like, the image itself is no longer the proof.
Not at all. You can no longer blindly trust what your eyes see. You have to look for the provenance. The proof is in the chain of custody now.
We have to know exactly how that image was made and where it came from.
Exactly. We are witnessing this forced migration from optical realism to informational realism. This pivotal spring of 2026 proved society has to separate the physical lens from the mathematical algorithm.
Which leaves you with a really fascinating thought to take away. Generative AI can now effortlessly create a flawless, photorealistic scene in seconds.
Absolute visual perfection.
Right, so as bromatography floods the world with that perfection, will human flaws, the blurry edges, the slightly missed focus, the imperfect framing, will those soon become the most highly prized signatures of authentic art?